All right, let's do it.
All right. What's going on, guys? Allan here, and
Houstan.
and welcome back to Allan and Houstan Who.
Yep. It's been a while.
It's been a couple of
Months.
yeah, and the last ones we did were just the program, and we haven't done a Who in a while, so we are, back doing another Who. Is Senor Houstan's turn. So
Yep.
who's the artist today?
All right. They are. Now we're going off of YouTube Music here. That's what we use. So today's video is sponsored by. No, we're not sponsored. Don't make him. Anyway, so let's start off with saying thank you all for the support on our recent video. As of the making of this, the first Xbox collection video went out. The one for my collection, it did 60 views. That's really good. So I appreciate that. I hope you guys enjoy AJ's, which is the follow-up one. That'll be going up on November 1st, which means it should be out already. This is the month of December, so happy early holidays for everyone, even though this is going out the first week. Are we doing something Christmas related? Well, no.
No, just kind of says no.
No. Are we doing anything Hanukkah related? No. We have no plans for the holidays. But what we do plan on doing is showing you guys music, because that's what you guys come here for. You're not here for holiday specials and stuff like that. You guys are here to listen to whatever music we end up putting on. So today we're doing a very underrated artist. If you're not familiar with the Allan and Houstan Who, this is a offshoot of our main program, the Allan and Houstan program. On this show, you'll see us talk about music artists. Now, we are not professionals at this. We just listen to a lot of music, and we just kind of say what we know about it. They're not going to be a lot. You might see a lot of people you probably never heard of. We've done like a lot of underrated hits, a lot of like sleeper hits.
That's what makes it fun.
Oh yeah,
kind of explore new sides of music we've never.
And that was what it was created with. Me and Allan have been strong supporters of listening to underrated artists. So we also have our own playlist we want to fill up. This is a perfect way to kind of learn new songs, but also kind of teach each other about each other's music taste. And at the end of the day, keep adding songs to our ever-growing playlists. So we're going to start off throwing it over to Allan to see if he can guess what today's artist is. Because he has no clue. That's the way I've been running this program.
Which is cool, because it kind of spices it up. So I asked before we started rolling would I know the artist or not, and he said, I think I might.
You might. Maybe.
Are they 60s?
They are. Yep.
Early or late?
They are early.
So I'm not really familiar with a lot of early 60s. That's more of his kind of like territory, but I'll try to take a guess. This is a shot in the dark. The Mamas and the Papas.
Okay. You're on the right track. This band played from 1965 with a few breaks in between to present. This is the Cowsills.
Okay. Never heard of the Cowsills before.
Yeah, they did they have a very popular hit, which I might share with you within this episode. But according to, we're using Wikipedia, so just putting it out there. This isn't stuff I really know about. I like one of their songs and I really want to learn more about them. So they consist of members Bob Cowsill, Susan Cowsill, and Paul Cowsill.
All related.
They're all related, yes. But the former members were John Cowsill, Bill Cowsill, Barry Cowsill, Barbara Cowsill, and Richard Cowsill. And their website is cowsill.com. So I hope everyone isn't tired of hearing the word Cowsill, because just click off the videos, because I'm probably going to say it a lot. But yeah, so this is a band that did a lot of sunshine pop. which was very popular in the early '60s. It's kind of a lot of people know it as hippie music, which is its unofficial name. But yeah, Sunshine Pop is what they were known for. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff, where you had the people talking exactly like the mamas and the papas, and you hear the people harmonizing in the background. It's a little cheeky. It's a little cheap sounding to most, but I like it. And today we're going to deep dive into the Cowsills, which were a big player in that. So we're going to start loading up their first song. It's actually 6 siblings here, according to YouTube Music. They're noted for performing professionally and singing harmonies at an early age, with their mother as well at a later date. So it's from, actually it's 1965, okay. Early 1965 it was formed. You ever heard of the Partridge Family?
Yes.
This band inspired the Partridge Family.
The show?
The show, yeah. It's kind of interesting. Partridge Family is a pretty big deal, so without further ado, let's take a look at the Cowsills. Let's start with their first song. The Rain, the Park, and Other Things. This is their most famous song. It's a weird song. I like the drums in this song. And that is the first minute of the song.
Huh.
I'm going to double check on the recording, make sure we're doing good. But tell us your thoughts on The Rain, the Park, and Other Things.
So, like you said, it was right when you were hitting play. It's a weird song. For sure, weird. I kind of got, like, The Doors vibes and, like, Beach Boys if they were on acid.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, weird song. But, for the type of music that they were going for, it's good. And I guess it can cater to a certain audience. Me personally, would I go out of my way to listen to it? No. But I can appreciate them wanting to be different and kind of like do a different approach to music. But yeah, it was kind of weird. It was at first I kind of was like at a circus show, and then like the harmonies came in.
How about that harp? That's kind of strange for a 60s song.
And then
they use them in the background, but to use it as like a point to switch to the next verse is kind of strange.
It's very strange. I agree. And then it's like then you got. I will admit, you said the drums were cool. It's kind of doing like this tribal thing to kind of add to like the
I love the
weird vibe. Yeah.
Yeah,
that I will admit that is cool.
I guess I believe that's a jazz kit, right? The jazz kit.
It could be depending on probably at that time they were using like the drummer was using probably like a kit like how mine's configured. But
I love that.
Yeah, again, would I go out of my way to listen to the song? No, but again, that's cool that you would this caters to you and to other people, and that's great.
And at the end of the day, that's the beauty of the show.
Yeah.
Is even some of the stuff he listens to, I might not frequent it, but it's cool as people that love music. We like expanding our palette with learning more about songs we normally wouldn't listen to. And I think that's how music should be interpreted. If you like music, that is. To the casual music listener, they're going to want to listen to what they're familiar with. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But me and Allan like taking it to the next level. We have a deep love for music, and we like deep diving. It's kind of crazy. So, but yeah. So I know normally you wouldn't listen to a lot of this type of stuff.
No, but I can see and I can respect it catering to a certain audience, though, which is again that's what music is basically a form of art. You're able to, it could be catered to a certain people and they can express how they feel and so again, you know what, for other people that's great. Me personally, no, but again, not bad, and not terrible for I shouldn't say not terrible. It was good in a way for it to be different. For like a mainstream placing, no.
Got it. No, you're good, dude. For the next one, I have Captain Sad and his Ship of Fools. Is actually the name of the song. I'm going to show you the album art.
What
does it look like? It looks familiar, right?
Kind of looks like the Joker.
You think so? It reminded me of another album. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this album came out a year before.
Oh, Sgt. Pepper's?
It looks very similar to that.
Do they, you ever heard of and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you do, you ever heard of the expression, in the term tongue-in-cheeks?
Yeah.
Is this band like tongue-in-cheeks?
Like the band? Or are you talking about...
Well, the band, their kind of approach, their what's the word I'm looking for? Their approach to their music, how when they go about writing a song and making these songs, do they the themes of a lot of the?
Is this supposed to be
their style? That's the word. Are they a tongue-in-cheek type of style band? Or?
It's more of the way I've only listened to that one song, the one I showed you, but based off what I've seen doing the light research I have done, they come across as the type of band that it's more experimental.
Okay.
So, which is fitting for the time, and when we did the Animals as well, a few Allan&HoostanProgram ago, and they also, you remember CC Rider? They had that weird organ. So back then, especially the mid '60s, as we got further towards the '70s, I would agree that things started to they started getting more psychedelic. So I kind of look at this as kind of a prototype for what would become of that.
Right. Real quick, not to grab.
You're good. No, you're good.
I noticed this title of the album, Captain Sad and his Ship of Fools, and the album
it's
artwork, and even the names of the songs, Newspaper Blanket, Meet Me at the Wishing Well, The Fantasy of the World of Harry Faye. It kind of reminds me, and this is going to be kind of different. It kind of reminds me of two bands. For a band, it kind of reminds me of Blue Oyster Cult. They kind of took that weird approach to a lot of the names of their songs and a lot of the artwork. And believe it or not, an artist in a different genre, Mac Miller.
Yes.
He went through a time period where he was going under another alias called Delusional Thomas.
Okay.
Where he kind of he had weird names of songs, one's my grandpa carried a flask. So it's kind of the idea, just the idea. Well, I know it's going a little off topic.
No, you're good.
The idea of bands like this band, they're going, like you said, they're going an experimental approach and doing something that no one's ever seen, and I think they wanted to catch people by surprise and make whoa, what is this?
Yep.
So that I can respect, but again, the first song, me personally wouldn't go out of my way to listen to that, but that's not my cup of tea. But I can respect it. People who do like it, and again, I really do respect what this band is, what they were doing.
Well, the way I look at it is this band is just, I felt like they were evolving with the times, with the music. Because you got to think, their first song was 65. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me actually just double check on that. That was from 67. Okay. Okay, so I guess my thought process, I actually thought it was a earlier 60, something like 65. I know the further we got towards the 70s, you had the psychedelic era. The Rain, the Park, and other things reminds me a lot of the early Beatles stuff, where it was kind of how you said, tongue-in-cheek. Twist and Shout, I feel like a lot of that stuff was kind of tongue-in-cheek. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It was so over the top, is what I'm saying. It's so gushy and too overly positive, which was normal for that era. I feel like just before we get into it, I feel like this album, it kind of shows the transitionary period of music. Because now we start getting into more experimental stuff, which is what the 70s psychedelic type stuff was, experimental. That's what I think it is. But yeah, I do see the crying Joker guy at the front. So, I don't know about you, Allan, but I think we should listen to the title track of this album. Because the title track of this album, Captain Sad and His Ship of Fools, kind of has me a little bit intrigued.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there are a lot of other ones that kind of have me scratching my head, like Ask the Children, The Bridge. Path of Love kind of sounds like typical, but Can't Measure the Cost of a Woman. So these are interesting titles, but the one that really pulls at me is Captain Sad and His Ship of Fools. And seeing how Captain Sad looks.
Sad.
Yeah, he looks really sad. I kind of want to, I want to see if I can bring him some happiness if we could listen to his songs and see why he got so sad. So without further ado, if you guys are following along, we're gonna go listen to Captain Sad and His Ship of Fools. It's our first time. Did that just start with a piano?
I think so.
Okay. Interesting. All right. A lot of breakdown with this one.
Yeah, would you like to go first?
I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, first off, the intro used the upright piano, so that was an interesting choice. As for the rest of the song, it does remind, and I hate to compare this because, I mean, I don't mean this in an insulting way, but the first thing I think of is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
It's definitely Beatles inspired for sure.
It really, it is. It definitely, is Beatles. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but just, based off of what we heard, it definitely sounded like that. The trombone throughout the song was an interesting choice as well. But I gotta admit, I was kind of intrigued at the fact that I thought the song was about Captain Sad. I almost said Sergeant Sad. I was kind of under the impression that we were going to learn about Captain Sad, but turns out we're Captain Sad. So that kind of threw me through a loop. So I think it was interesting. I actually like it. I don't know if it's a song I'd frequent because I think it is a little too weird for my taste. But again, I guess you listen to it a few times, you get used to it. What do you think, Allan?
Like the first one, it's definitely, again, not trying to be like a Debbie Downer, so to speak, and, hating on it. This is not my cup of tea. It is weird. Like, I heard, at one point at the beginning, I heard, throughout the main kind of chorus.
The laughing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if there's maybe if there's a dark meaning to the song. And I know it's maybe trying to sound like a happy, upbeat song, but maybe there's a meaning behind the song. I don't know. But it was weird.
The first few lyrics of the song are la 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 ha 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 la 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 la. So I'd imagine it's not that sad.
No.
I mean, maybe it is.
I don't know, but I mean, it was like trying to be like a positive, happy song, which was good. I mean, it was. Again, I don't know.
It actually is a sad song.
Okay, so it's like there's like a hidden meaning behind the song.
So in the lyrics it says, "Your captain sat on the ship of fools. I think you should look down because your paper ship is soon to run aground." So in other words, you know, you're a captain of this ship. You shouldn't be so proud of yourself. Look so highly of yourself. I guess highly. You should look down because the ship that you think that you're sailing is falling apart. So it is an interesting song. Okay, so I guess that based on like a quick skim of the lyrics, it seems like this song is about someone who is very proud of their life and talks about how they go to different places. I think that's what it is. Gotcha. Captain is meant more of like a, I guess, kind of like a hidden meaning type of thing. Like this person that they're talking about is traveling the world and has apparently stickers. Goes to different countries, it seems, but they're always so proud about talking about their life. Meanwhile, the Cowsills are saying, listen, stop talking so highly about yourself for traveling all across the world. You should realize that your life is actually falling apart. So it is interesting. I mean, that is the thing with psychedelic music, is it really has you subverting your expectations. In what other genre, and I'll throw it over to you, yeah. What other genre do they start music with la 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 la, ha ha la la la, and it has a deeper meaning? I mean, because the only time I know that songs use that is like baby stuff. Yeah. So it is interesting, and I don't mean that insultingly. I just find it hilariously funny in a admirable sort of way that only psychedelic music can do. What do you think?
No, again, just to basically bring it back to what I was saying, it's like it has the happy vibes, but like you said, there's like a deep meaning behind it, and it's just like with that experimental approach. So, yeah,
I like it. So that was 2.
Yeah.
We could. Let me see. Would you like to maybe find one more song off of this album before we move on for a third one?
Doesn't matter. We can move on to another one.
Well, because we need the third one, right? Let me see.
Well, I thought you were just going by like just 5, like just like general, regardless of what album.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So let's see. Let's look through this album. All right. So on Captain Sat in Ship of Fools, we have Captain Sat in Ship of Fools, Make the Music Flow, Indian Lake, Ask the Children, Who Can Teach a Songbird How to Sing, possibly it's called, The Bridge, The Path of Love, Newspaper Blanket, Meet Me at the Wishing Well, The Fantasy World of Harry Faversham, Painting the Day, or Can't Measure the Cost of a Woman. Which one would you like to listen to next? I'm leaving it over to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Probably The Fantasy World of Harry Faversham.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious who this guy is too.
That kind of reminds me, like the title, like that kind of reminds me like Elton John, like Captain Fantastic.
It could be.
Kind of like there's like it's like a story of like it's like bands and art. I'm not saying this is a concept. It's like maybe a concept song where it's like there's a story.
It could
behind it. So that kind of grabbed my attention first. Like, so it's like wonder if it's gonna be like more of a happier song, or if it's gonna be like the last one. It's gonna be like has happy vibe, but also there's like a deeper meaning behind it. Maybe
it could be. It's from 1968. Obviously, it's off the same album.
So 68.
This is 68.
Okay, so this is kind of like around the time when the Beatles were.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band came out in 67.
Okay, so
which leads me
after.
Yeah, so which leads me to think that there was some inspiration. Although I'd like to keep it open ended because maybe there's a possibility it wasn't. It just so happened that
just by chance.
Yeah. So, but we're not comparing them to the Beatles. They are their own band, and we're looking at them for what they put out. So, let's look at Harry Faversham. Let's go take a look at him. Let's see his fantasy world he's talking about. All right, here we go. Oh, okay. It would probably help if I get the volume up. All right. What were you thinking?
Well, that part right there just kind of took it just went like a different the tempo and the whole vibe just changed. I think it started off happy and kind of like maybe some positive optimism and then it just kind of like the vocal tone kind of just like went down, and then it's like, oh, so maybe it's taking a turn.
It's crazy. Yeah, I agree.
Like very so like. This was a side of, I guess, music in the 60s that no one really, I never knew. I mean, I knew, the Doors were going, an experimental approach. I know a lot of bands, like Jefferson Airplane, but, these guys were kind of, still carrying on, the tradition of, being experimental, but, the way they were doing it, I've never experienced before.
Yeah. I noticed that a trend that I'm noticing is that upright piano seems to have a precedence in a lot of their songs. So, which is good because you know what, as a band, you gotta have a standout feature. It's a voice. It's the way you do a certain thing. If the upright piano, as we go forward, is a common trait that they have, then by all means, I think that's pretty cool. Because upright pianos are not really used for much, unless you're talking about cowboy music. So it's interesting. This song started off as a typical 70s song, in my opinion. This kind of sounded like your run-of-the-mill, Neil Diamond, John Denver type song. And then kind of turned into, its own thing. I kind of felt like I was flying through space. Because of the echoes. And it's a very pretty song. I noticed that this song started out with do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
So it is interesting how we're taking what's essentially gibberish, and that would usually be kind of show that you're happy, to kind of getting a little bit more serious.
Right.
Any other thing you wanted to add to it?
No, that's pretty much all I had to say about that one.
Let's see. So the song's basically about this guy. Wait, it's called "Meet Me at the Wishing Well," right? That's the one we decided to do.
Oh no, we were doing the Eversham, but that one's okay.
Okay,
That's fine. Meet Me at the Wishing Well is okay.
I like this one. I was wondering why it was a little different. Okay, so "Meet Me at the Wishing Well" is the one we did. Whoops, I'm so sorry, everyone. Yeah, so this one was apparently about how this person keeps throwing things down a wishing well, hoping that the days are going to get better. So, and I guess the days are pretty bad right now. So, I guess to make up for that, let's actually listen to the song that I told everyone we were going to listen to, "The Fantasy World of Harry Faversham." That'll be our number 4 pick. So listen to it. Sold. We just went in a totally different direction. Interesting. Okay.
I just gotta close the door, but you can start your thoughts if you would like.
The fantasy world of Harry Fabersham. Yeah, it's interesting. I think one of the biggest pronounced things is the yelling of Harry O. Or Milrose Hess. I think that's a part of the lyrics. Harry O. Yeah. I don't even know how to really react to this one. It's a different tone. It definitely seems more weird. I feel like we're kind of transported back to medieval times, which I guess makes sense because fantasy world. This song is very unique. I might have to give it a full listen at a later date, but as of right now, it is an interesting song. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah. Anything you want to?
It's like, I try to form like new insights on these songs, but again, it's just the idea. It's like it's very weird. Like it's like I don't know. It's like there's different vibes and themes going on in a lot of these songs. It's just that like he's doing that like tiptoe through the window type voice, and I'm like,
yeah.
But
interesting.
Yeah, very very interesting. Very very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that one. Let's skip forward a little bit and go to interesting. Let's see, what's this one called? It's called Rhythm of the World. Cowsills. Let's see what year this came out. 2022. I'm trying to figure out if this is the original thing. What do you think of the Cowsills so far?
Again, a very unique band who are taking a different approach of making music than what normally a lot of bands would do, especially in the 60s. Again, very weird. I'm going to emphasize that. But I do respect their creativity and their uniqueness of how they're doing it because they're separating themselves from everyone else. Because sometimes doing the same thing that people do is just, it gets, I feel like, boring after a while. And it kind of like, nothing new and like exciting. So I guess they decided to go balls to the wall and just do that.
Yeah.
So I can respect that. Again, it's very, very weird.
What's it?
That's my parents.
Oh. Cameo. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, I'm not finding much else on Rhythm of the World. So I guess we could give it a listen, or unless we would like to do a Christmas offering from the Cowsills, which came out last year.
Whatever you would like to do.
Let's take a look at a Christmas offering from the Cowsills. That's our holiday option. I mean, it does make sense. This is going out during the holiday season, so let's do Winter Wonderland. I know this is a favorite of Allan's.
I have my number one favorite Christmas song.
Yep, so let's do it. Let's listen to the Cowsills rendition of Winter Wonderland. Interesting. So how was that rendition of your favorite song?
I think it's good. You know, they don't do the weird experimental shit that they do, because again, I feel like, you know, they kind of wanted to make, you know, it's the holidays, let's kind of, you know, it was actually a really good rendition. It's very like soulful, especially with the harmonies in the background. You know, they're keeping kind of like the festive vibe going in it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
That was a pretty really solid, well done cover.
I'm gonna second that. I think the lack of an actual like backing track is an interesting choice. I actually was expecting them to do a backing track, but given what we've learned about the Cowsills thus far, we know that they're siblings that are well known. Of course, I know we've lost a few along the way, so tributes to them. But I know they are well known for their harmonizing. So I guess it does make sense. You know what I mean? You know, you're a band that's well known for doing harmonizing. All 5 songs we listened to today all have harmonizing in them. They all have that in common. So I guess it does make sense that the Cowsills' newest, album thus far, being a Christmas album, it does make sense they would continue their legacy of harmonizing. One thing I did want to add before we close it out, another interesting band, since we're in the topic of 60s bands. I mean, I guess when I'm running Allan&HoostanProgram, isn't it? Right? So, but the band The Turtles, I just found out via Wikipedia, they have a Happy Together tour that they do annually, every year. I didn't know that. First of all, I didn't even know the Turtles still perform, so that is just very interesting. But they actually have the Cowsills there. And since 2015, apparently, they've been off and on performing. It's the 3 siblings are the only ones that are really still performing now. But they perform at this event called the Happy Together Tour of the Turtles. Obviously, Happy Together, the Turtle song, with other 60s bands. So now that kind of has me thinking, what other 60s bands are we seeing here besides the Cowsills? But I guess really the end result is why the reason I even brought that up is that the Cowsills still have a place in American culture. So much so that another popular band, the Turtles, which I would argue more people know more than the Cowsills, have the Cowsills a part of them. So I think if the Turtles acknowledge the Cowsills, then I think that means the Cowsills really are a big deal. And that makes me feel kind of happy that we're keeping these underrated artists. So it still counts as an underrated artist. But I'm glad that they're getting the recognition they deserve, because they truly do deserve that title of being the best harmonizing family group. And I can see where the Partridge Family got their ideas from. So that's my final thing with the Cowsills. So I like them. What do you think?
Again, for the 5,000th time of this whole episode.
Are you tired of hearing the word Cowsill?
No, I think the Cowsills, a very unique and interesting band who take a different approach to making music. Now, again, for the 5,000th time, not my cup of tea, but I do respect what they were doing. And it was a very interesting turnaround this time. So
I agree.
I did enjoy it though, learning something new.
Me too. Well, I guess that's the end of this Allan and Houstan Who. So hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I know it was kind of in the left field. We were doing the Cowsills. I know most people are probably scratching their hands as to what a Cowsill is. Now that you know what a Cowsill is, you're probably not going to want to hear that word ever again because we said it so many times. But I'd strongly recommend you go take a look at these guys' albums and tell us what you guys think about the songs. If you guys were listening along on your end, what do you think? Are they weird? Are they good? What do you think? Do you think you could harmonize better? Do you think all of us could harmonize? Do you think me and Allan could harmonize better? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But anywho, go check them out. I guess you're... I'm
Allan.
He's Allan, and I'm Houstan.
We'll see you guys.
See you later.
In the next one.
See you next year. That's right, because remember when this is going out? Next year.